Welcome to my 2021 Holiday Card Series. You can find the reference material for all the paintings in this series by clicking on the project page link in the description of this video. Okay, we're ready to start this Christmas card. And this particular card has this template. Pretty simple shapes. A tree with some saplings. There's going to be some snow with some shadows on the ground. And that template is on the project page of my website. And as with many of my my holiday cards this year, I'm doing a wintry scene, and I'm going to have it be a snowy scene. So I'm going to begin by splattering some of this masking fluid. I dip this toothbrush in a jar of masking fluid. You can squeeze in with a bottle, and then I just kind of flick that on there. And if you get any drops that are too big, like I did right there, just let it dry and then peel it off before you start to paint. And I'm going to get a little heavier texture back here, and I'm actually going to drag this just a little bit, just to give an indication of some of these trees, snow on trees, just a little bit back there. I don't want to do too much. And just a little splatter here and there. And then something else you could do if you wanted to have some snow on branches or indicating on these snaps. I'm going to take this fine line bottle that has a fine tip with some masking fluid, and just give the impression of a little bit of snow laying on some branches, and perhaps a few areas back here where it starts to meet the woods. Again, you don't have to do this. This is just something to give me a little extra feeling for the snow line where it's at here, or the line right in front of the woods. And that's it. So I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll paint. The masking fluid is dry, and now I'm going to go ahead and begin to paint. So what I have here is there's going to be some woods back here with some snow and some shadows on it, and a few a large tree trunk here that's going up, and some saplings coming up from there. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to put a wash in the background, just to kind of suggest the wooded area back there, and I'll paint some tree shapes over top of it. So I'm starting with raw sienna, and I'm going to take a little ultramarine, and so I have a kind of a warm and a cool mixture, and I might even take just a little burnt orange. So I'm just going to start to put this kind of a warm tone in here. Then I'm going to work in just touches of cool as I do this, so I get a little variation. I think I want to go a little stronger with my color. The paper, I'm working on a greeting card stock, a blank greeting card stock, and it doesn't quite handle like some of the watercolor papers. It's not bad, but doesn't quite have the absorbency at times. And so I'm going to bring this down here to suggest a kind of a snowy area right at the edge. A little more ultramarine, get some of that cool color coming in here. And I think get a little more ultramarine and some of the burnt orange, and I'm going to go a little darker with my with my mixture. Not too much, a little bit at the bottom, because I'm gonna come in. I'll put some tree shapes over top of that. Little touches of warm and cool. Even just splatter a little in there. Have some variation. And now what I want to do is I'm gonna just give this a quick dry. And I'm going to come in, I'm going to paint kind of the snow. Actually, I think I'll paint this, the tree here first, and I'll bring in some of the snow, and then I'll come in with some of the saplings and trees back here. Let me go ahead and give this a dry. That's dry. Now I'm going to paint this tree, and I'm going to use some of the same colors, some of this quinacridone burnt orange, and some of the ultramarine blue, and even a little of this raw sienna that I have here. So I might start here in the front with a warmer, go a little cooler back here. I want this to be dark enough though, because it's going to be a strong element. So I'm going to actually take some royal blue, which is a very dark value, with some of that burnt orange. Go even a little darker here. But I don't want it to be quite as neutral as it is, or neutral gray. It's a little too gray for me at the moment. So I'm going to bring in some color with that burnt orange. Mix that up with a little of the blue, the royal blue. And I'll just leave that as kind of snow coming up, and paint where I can see a little bit of a few breaks in the snow. Where I can see the tree trunk. So I think I'll leave it at that. And well, I have these some of these colors. I'm going to go ahead and I think I'll wait. I was going to go ahead and paint the saplings in, but I'm just going to go ahead and start to paint some colors in this snow, and then I'll come in and go over top of that with the sapling. So once again, I want to dry this so that I can put a wash right beside this without affecting that tree. That's dry, and now I'm going to clean a little of this off my palette for the time being. Probably would have been fine doing the snow before I did the tree, but we'll just keep on going. So now I'm going to take my wash brush, and I'm going to take a little bit of cobalt blue, a little rose madder, mix kind of a violet, a little bit of a red violet, a little more pigment. So that gives me kind of a violet and a bit of a blue. If I wanted to, I could gray that down some. Maybe I will, just a little bit. I'm going to take a little of the hands of yellow. I don't want too much, it'll really turn it gray. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and look at back here in the woods where this I have some of this white masking. I'm gonna drop this color back here so it looks like there's some shadows and kind of rough ground cover in the snow. And then I want to kind of suggest some shadows here where these saplings are at. Sometimes I'll break those up and disappear in a few areas with a roll of the lamp. And perhaps we're still going to put a couple out here to suggest that there's some more trees being more shadows being reflected from trees. Then put a few touches here and start to pick up this shadow as if it's being cast by this tree. And then let's see, we'll bring that out there. And you know, there's probably some other trees here that you don't see, so I'm going to just kind of suggest that by bringing in a little bit more shadow. And I think I want to go just a little bit darker here. And that's pretty good. I don't want to go overboard with this, but I might actually make it look like there's some, you know, some trees over here. Okay, so again, I want to dry that, and I'm going to come in and put some saplings and some things, little tree shapes back here. So that's dry, and I'm going to go back and mix some of this royal blue and burnt orange. It's strong enough, I'm not going to worry too much about what's on my palette. Gotta get some pigment out of my well there. Okay. So there's a few colors I can work with. I'm gonna take a rigger brush here. This is a number 6 rigger brush, and I'm gonna start here and give an indication of a, you know, a sapling growing there. Got a branch coming in here. Let's see. I'll go with a cooler color on that. And I put some masking fluid there, so it's going to show. It'll show up with a little bit of a white highlight. And I think I'm going to take a number 1 liner brush here, and I'll put some, you know, some little plants, some twigs or whatever coming up out of the ground here and there, peeking out of the snow, and maybe something back here. And now I'm going to take this a little lighter value, a little more water in this now. I'm going to just paint in some tree shapes back here. You know, if this is just a thick wooded area, and I just blot that to break it up a little bit. Keep it nice and light. I'll throw a few darker values back here too. Not too much. I want this to feel like it's back here a ways. And what I am going to do, I think, is it's pretty dark right there. Take a little darker mixture. Go a little stronger with this value, things that are close. Okay. Put just a few darker tones maybe here on the ground. Help reinforce the feeling of a somewhat strong horizontal. Give us a place to put our feet on the ground. And I think this one needs to be a little stronger. Okay, so let's we'll give that a dry. I'll put a few. I want a few curved shapes back here, perhaps. Okay, so we'll go ahead and dry this, and I'll take off the masking fluid. Actually, before I do, I'll go a little darker. See if I have a clean enough area here on my palette. I go just a touch darker here with a shadow. Show a little areas where that shadow breaks out. Go a little darker here. Okay, so now let me dry this and we'll take the masking fluid off. So that's dry, and I'm going to take my pickup eraser here, and I'm going to roll off the masking fluid, and you can see how that just gives a nice feeling of a snowy day, a winter scene. And I'm going to take my tape off. I'll take it off slowly so I don't tear. I pull away from I pull this way away from the painted area and the edge of the paper so it doesn't lift anything. I'll pull away here. And we'll pull it away there. So there we have our card. Just a simple little winter scene. This is an imaginary scene, so it's not really using a reference photo or anything. It's just a made-up scene. And I hope you have fun painting it.